All right, welcome back. Today we are diving deep into Mission 5, the Strategic Debrief. This is where all the intelligence we've gathered gets transformed into a powerful, winning strategy for a VA claim. So let's get into it and see how it all comes together.
So, the initial data gathering phase, that's done. The interview is over, the intel is on the table. But the mission is far from over. In fact, you could say this is where the real work begins. We're shifting from reconnaissance to pure strategy. It's time to analyze every piece of intel and build a real battle plan.
And this is exactly where the advocate comes in to do their thing. It's called a forensic analysis for a reason. It is a deep, meticulous, almost microscopic examination of every single piece of data. The advocate takes all this information from previous missions and starts to build the strongest possible legal case from the ground up.
And that right there is the crucial pivot. We are no longer just collecting documents and dates. We're now constructing a compelling legal narrative. Think of it like a story backed by hard evidence that explains precisely why your conditions are service-connected and why they deserve the maximum possible rating. Okay, so the very first thing that comes out of this deep analysis is something called the lockdown summary. Honestly, you should think of this as the mission briefing. It's the immediate, top-line assessment of your entire case. It's designed to give you a quick, clear grasp of exactly where things stand right now.
This summary instantly breaks down the whole case. It shows you the strengths we're going to lean on, and it points out the weaknesses that we need to shore up. And this is huge. It specifically pinpoints any past VA errors. Those can be incredibly powerful leverage. And finally, it outlines the main objectives. It's your entire case status in a single powerful snapshot.
Next up, we quantify the findings. This brings us to the analysis score. Now, this isn't a guess or a gut feeling. It's a data-driven assessment of your case's current strength. It's a calculated score based on all the evidence we have that tells us how lockable the case is right now and what the risks are. So for example, you might see a score like this, 85 out of 100. A number like this is a really powerful indicator. It tells us the case is strong, for sure, but it also clearly shows there's room for improvement. It becomes our starting point for targeting our efforts to get that score as close to a perfect 100 as we possibly can.
Of course, a score is pretty meaningless without justification, right? This breakdown shows you exactly why the score is what it is. It's going to explicitly point out any missing evidence, it'll identify any gaps or, fractured steps in your claim's history, and it gives a super clear risk assessment. What this all means is you now have a precise roadmap of what needs to be fixed. No guesswork.
Building on that analysis, the very next step is to map out the factual landscape of your claims. This section is all about establishing a clear, undeniable baseline of where everything currently stands. This is the ground truth. And this table right here, this is the heart of that baseline assessment. Just look at the first line for a second. We've got degenerative disc disease, and the status is denied. Supporting evidence, we have service treatment records and an MRI. But the most important column here is the last one, identified gaps. And what does it say? No nexus link. Boom. That immediately tells us the exact piece of evidence we need to go get. It's this level of clarity that just removes all the ambiguity from the process.
And that's really the key takeaway here. This super detailed view isn't just for show. It is the solid foundation that the entire strategy is built on. We know our assets, and we know exactly which positions need to be fortified with more evidence before we go into battle.
So with that baseline firmly established, our focus now shifts to the future. This next section is all about the forward-looking plan. It's about defining the clear, actionable mission objectives that are going to get you to that 100% rating.
And here, the goal becomes crystal clear. This chart visually shows the gap between your current combined rating and that 100% target. Seeing the objective laid out so simply really makes the path forward feel tangible. It helps anchor the entire mission.
So, the big question, how do we close that gap? Well, we do it by defining the most direct, prioritized path. This isn't some vague plan. It is a step-by-step sequence of actions. Whether it's filing for an increase, appealing a denial, or addressing a clear and unmistakable error from the VA, each step is chosen for maximum impact. And here it is, the detailed operational plan. This table lists every specific legal action we're going to take. For instance, you can see the top priority is an appeal for that degenerative disc issue. It has a firm deadline, and the remarks clearly state it needs a nexus letter. Every single action is prioritized, with deadlines and required evidence clearly noted. This is the playbook for success. Now, you might be wondering, what's the business model that makes all this happen? Well, the firm operates on a contingency basis, and this quote says it all. Our interests are completely aligned. Compensation comes from one thing: fighting to win denied claims. To put it simply, we only get paid when you win.
And to be completely transparent about it, this table breaks down exactly how a custom fee is determined. It's not some arbitrary number. We look at factors like the complexity of the case, the quality of the evidence on hand, and the probability of approval. All of that is assessed to set a rate that aligns the firm's resources with the case's potential for success. And finally, we get to the action items. This whole process isn't something that's just done for you, it's something we do with you. This section is all about our shared mission and the team effort that's required to win. And I really want to hammer this point home. Look, having an advocate is a massive advantage, but it does not automatically guarantee a win. Your active participation is absolutely critical. You, the veteran, have a responsibility to help generate medical evidence and get it into your advocate's hands. This is a true team effort, through and through. This is what that team effort looks like in practice. Notice how the tasks are clearly assigned to either the veteran or the advocate. So the veteran might be tasked to get private medical records, and there's a 4-week deadline. At the same time, the advocate is assigned to draft appeal brief, but look at the notes. It's dependent on getting those records from you. This creates total clarity on who needs to do what and by when.
So, the debrief is complete. The battle plan is clear. The case is understood, and the tasks are assigned. Your entire strategy is laid out right in front of you. Now, the real mission begins. The only question left is, are you ready?